12 years with Eddi Licious, and at this point it's kind of hard to say where he ends and I begin.
Please give it up for the one only Eddi Licious!
My drag name is Eddi Licious, and I'm from Victoria. I grew up in a really small town, and I didn't really have the resources to parse what I was going through when I hit puberty and wasn't matching up with my classmates. You add the usual social ostracism that comes with being a young queer in a tiny town, and you have a pretty salty recipe for angst. I think I kind of lived in a state of depression for a lot of years. It wasn't until I was about 18 and I'd been doing dance and theater for a couple years. I started really trying to explore characters and digging into my personal experiences in life. And it was at that point that I kind of started to see my body more for what it was. Not inherently male or female, first and foremost, but more just a vehicle for sharing ideas. I think that drag and performance art does something like that for a lot of people. It's kind of this corrective soul surgery for a lot of us. Eddi Licious is sort of a cross between Axl Rose, Tiny Tim, Beetlejuice, and a well-trained but unneutered toy poodle. He is a little political, a little campy, a lot complex, pretty confused, but an all-around good guy. Eddi Licious isn't always a very stereotypically masculine man, but he's totally all man. His mannerisms and presentation are actually really reflective of my late father's influence. It sounds weird, but he's kind of like a way for me to keep those influences living and breathing in my day-to-day. I feel like during the week, I sort of exist in stealth mode a little bit. In my day life, I am a veterinary technician, so like an animal nurse. The first time I did drag, I was really focused on passing as a male. It took me 1 or 2 shows to be like, this is not me. I want to figure out a way to still do drag, but have it be more authentic for myself. I'm a cis feminine presenting, white passing, pretty plain looking, genderqueer Métis person. So with Eddi, I can kind of fill in those gaps and let those hidden aspects of myself out to play a bit through him. I identify as Two-Spirit, and as a Two-Spirit person, I found that Eddi Licious has actually really become an essential part of my gender identity. Two-Spirit is a pan-Indigenous term that refers to a third gender identity that was a part of Indigenous societies back before the day of colonization. They were seen as having both male and female energy within, in harmony. Drag is an art form that uses makeup and movement to accentuate gender traits. Like, it's not just putting on a wig and lip syncing. This is spiritual stuff. We've all faced situations that have left us feeling raw, and that's what a lot of my numbers are about. To take these moments and subvert them and turn them into something funny or moving or disturbing while looking fierce, it just makes me feel like I have some control over my reality. I used to think that nobody could relate to me. But like, that's the cool thing about showing vulnerability on stage. I think I learn something new about myself every time I perform or create a new piece. What I do is drag, and gender and sexuality is inherently part of that for me, but the part of it doesn't have to always be super explicit. Like, let's take genitalia out of the conversation altogether and see how much more there is to a person.
Our next artist has been creeping around in the shadowy corners of our community scene for over a decade. He delights in slipping into the tasty brain meats of unsuspecting audiences. Please welcome your new freaky friend, Eddi Licious.
That's what I call the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Sodomy.
There are a lot of queens that don't regularly or ever stuff their bras. So I kind of feel like as a king, why can't I choose not to bind sometimes? Some men have extra breast tissue. Some women have very little. And the fact that one type is more sexualized over the other is a really weird social construct that I would like to have a part in dismantling. So many of us have struggled, with rejection from friends and family because of who we are. This community we've built is really just full of wounded healers. It's like this beautiful, messy network of fringe misfits who look out for each other.
And in first place, Eddi Wilson!
We're all really different people, but we share a common thread: persistence and determination in living our truths, indelible queerness, and the understanding that we're not going to be willed out of existence. People are just going to have to get used to us.